Alright guys, here is your Algebraic Expression Unit 1 test review. Your test will be Wednesday. Once again, just to remind you, it will look very similar to the review that you have here. When you're given n minus 8 minus 5, we need to circle the like terms. Okay, negative 8, notice I circled the sign that precedes it, and negative 5 are like terms. If I knew that a negative plus a negative is just going to give you more negatives, that's great. But however, I would suggest typing in your calculator and do negative 8 minus 5, which is going to give me negative 13. So this comes out to be n minus 13, which is option B. Okay, use your calculator. Okay, the next step, we have p minus 5 minus 9 minus 10p. Once again, I'm going to circle the pieces that are like terms, okay, and I circle the sign that precedes it. Okay, so if I see negative 5 minus 9, negative 5 minus 9, that's going to give me, once again, a negative 14. So the two circle things are going to give me negative 14. Now I'm going to circle in another color the p and the negative 10. Okay, if I circle the p and the negative 10, so there's like an understood 1 right here. So once again, that's a positive 1 minus 10. If I type that in my calculator, positive 1 minus 10, I'm going to be left with a negative 9p. My final answer here should be negative 14 minus 9p or negative 9p minus 14. Okay, community property says it doesn't matter what order you add in as long as the negatives stay with the negatives. Okay, negative 14, negative 14, negative 9p, negative 9p. So we're good there. Good. So your option should be option B, negative 9p minus 14. Okay, the next one we have a negative 7 minus 7 times 7 minus 8n. Okay, when I'm looking at this, we have to think about, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, parentheses. If I look just those parentheses right there, can I clean that up? Nope. Are there any exponents? Nope. So now I'm down to multiplication division. Okay, this is actually multiplication right here. However, a common mistake is that most people just multiply the 7. That 7 is negative, so you have to make sure you distribute the negative with the 7. Okay, when we do this, I didn't touch this piece right here, so I'm just going to bring them down. A negative 7 times a positive 7, if you don't know it, check it in your calculator. A negative 7 times a positive 7, it should give you a negative 49. A negative 7 times a negative 8, negative 7 times a negative 8 should give you a positive 56. But remember, your calculator is not going to give you the n, so make sure you write the n. Okay, these two pieces right here, negative 7 and negative 49, they are like terms, or known as constants. So if I need to know what negative 7 minus 49 is, I'm going to type in my calculator and find out it's going to be negative 56. So I get negative 56 plus positive 56n. So it looks just like option A. Good? Okay, so looking at the next one, number 4. If you have a negative 3, you have to distribute it to both pieces. Okay, both pieces within the parentheses. That's a negative 3, not a positive 3. That's why I circled the negative with it. So a negative 3 times a positive 1 is a negative 3. A negative 3 times a negative 7b is a positive 21b. And I didn't touch the negative 7b, so I'm going to write it down. Remember, if you don't know negative 3 times negative 7, make sure you type in your calculator to find out that it's 21. Okay, a positive 21b and a negative 7b, those are the like terms. Once again, 21 minus 7 is going to give you a positive 14. Negative 3 plus a positive 14b, okay, which is answer D. Okay, the next one down here. Okay, we're going to have a lot more to do this time. Okay, because this time we have two parentheses and two numbers in front of those parentheses, so we're going to have to distribute 2 times. I'm going to distribute the negative 3 to both pieces in the parentheses, and I'm going to distribute the positive 5 to both pieces in the parentheses. Negative 3 times a positive 8 is a negative 24. Negative 3 times a positive 3n is a negative 9n. Positive 5 times n is a positive 5n. And positive 5 times negative 6 is a negative 30. Okay, negative 24, negative 30. Both of them do not have an n, so therefore they're like terms. Once again, negative 24 minus 30, negative 24 minus 30 is going to result in a negative 54. Okay, the other two, We have a negative 9n and a positive 5n. Okay? Once again, if you don't know that, negative n, or negative 9 plus 5, it's going to give you a negative 4n. Just make sure you put the n because your calculator doesn't remind you about the n. Okay, so negative 54 minus 4n, that is option D. Okay, let's look at number 6. If you have 8x times 1 plus 7x plus 2x, I'm going to write this one out in multiple steps. Okay, because a lot of you guys get confused when you have two x's. 8x times 1, I'm going to write 8x times 1 plus 8x times 7x, 8x times 7x, and then we didn't do anything with that plus 2x, I'm going to bring it down. 8x times 1 is 8x. 8 times 7 is 56. X, that's 2 x's, so I'm going to say x squared. Okay, and you're going to say plus 2x. There was only one x there, that's why there's only one x written down. Okay, positive 8x and positive 2x are like terms. 8 plus 2 is going to give you 10x plus 56x squared, which is going to be option D. Are we good? Okay, let's go to page 2. Going to continue the process. We got 7 plus 5 times 7 plus 3n. Okay, that's a positive 5, which I'm going to distribute to both pieces. I did not touch the 7, so I'm going to write them down. 7, a positive 5 times a positive 7 is a positive 35. A positive 5 times a positive 3n is a positive 15n. This positive 7 and positive 35 are like terms. If I don't know what that's going to give me, I'm going to type in 7 plus 35, and I'm going to get 42. 42 plus 15n, which is answer B. Okay, once again, we got 3 times 6 minus 3m minus 6m. We're going to distribute that positive 3 to both pieces. Positive 3 times positive 6 is a positive 18. Positive 3 times a negative 3m is a negative 9m. And the negative 6m is not in the parentheses, so we're just going to bring them down. Once again, if you don't know negative 9m minus 6m, use your calculator. Negative 9 minus 6 is going to give you a negative 15. So you have negative 15m. And we're going to bring down the 18. So 18 minus 15m should give you a B. Good? Okay, we're going to subtract 5 from a number, and then we're going to multiply the results by 11. So let's start off by subtracting 5 from a number. Okay, a number can be represented by the variable x. So some people are going to say x minus 15 and, 5, sorry. Some people are going to say x minus 5, and others will say 5 minus x. Now remember, the key word is subtract 5 from it. So take 5 away. So 5 should be negative. This one has a negative 5. This one doesn't. So we're going to get rid of him. And then we're going to multiply the result by 11. Well, we don't know what x minus 5 is. So the result of x minus 5 is really just x minus 5. So therefore, we have to use parentheses when we multiply the result or the whole thing by 11. We're going to once again distribute 11 times x is 11x. 11 times a negative 5 is a negative 55. So we're looking at answer A. Okay? We're going to multiply n by 7 and then add 2. So if you're multiplying n by 7, well, that's like 7 n by 7, and then we're going to add 2 on the n. So 7 times n is 7n plus 2, which is option A. Okay? We're going to factor out the common factor out of each expression. Let's look at the numbers. They both have in common a 4. They do not both have a variable, so I'm only going to take out a 4. That's going to leave me with a p plus 1. 4 times p is 4p. 4 times 1 is 4. So I got what I started with, and that looks like answer D. Okay? Number 12. If you don't like factoring out the greatest common factor, you can always look at the answer choices. Let's start with D. B times 10b squared, that's going to actually give you 10b cubed, not a 3 up there. So we can get rid of D. 2 times 20b squared is going to give you a 20b squared. We don't have a 20b squared, so we can get rid of B. 2b times b squared is going to give you a 2b to the third. We don't have a 2b to the third. So automatically your answer should be A, but let me show you both ways. Okay, 10b squared plus 6, they're both divisible by 1 and 2. The bigger one between those two are 2. Okay, they do not both have a variable, so therefore we can only factor out a number. 2 times 5b squared would give you that one, and 2 times 3 would give you 6, which is also option A. Okay, let's go to page 3. Page 3. Okay, they both have a negative. Okay, so we have negative 15x squared plus 10. We're looking at the numbers. They're both divisible by 1 and 5. 5 is bigger, so I'm going to take out a 5. Okay, now do they both have a variable? They do not both have a variable. Okay, so therefore I cannot take out a variable. When I look at my answer choices, I see some negatives right here, but when I look at my answer choices, those are all positive. Okay, so I'm just going to take out a positive 5. When I take out that positive 5, I'm left with a negative 3x squared plus 2. How do I know that? 5 times negative 3x squared is negative 15x squared. 5 times a positive 2 is a positive 10. So your answer should be B. Okay, the next one. 2m squared minus 6m. They're both divisible by a 1 and a 2, but 2 is bigger, so we're going to take out a 2. They both have at least one m, but the most I can take out of each piece is an m. Okay, we're going to be left with m minus 3. How do I know that? 2m times m gives you 2m squared. 2m times negative 3 gives you negative 6m. So my answer should be option C. Good. Okay, which of the following are not an equivalent expression? Which of the following is not an equivalent expression? Okay, if I don't know, I'm going to pick some random numbers. I'm going to say x equals 1 and y equals 2. So I'm going to find the square root of 1 plus 2, the square root of 1 plus the square root of 2, and I'm going to find the square root of 2 plus 1. Okay, when I type these into my calculator, square root of 1 plus 2 is going to give me about 1.73. So we're going to say about 1.73. Okay, now this next one right here is the square root of 1 plus the square root of 2, which gives me about 2.41. So obviously we can mark out A because they are not all equivalent. Those two gave me two different outputs. But we need to know, does this expression match the first one or the second one? Okay, so we're going to do the square root of 2 plus 1 this time, and we're going to get 1.73. So when we're looking at our outputs, 1.73, we can automatically say that this one right here is the one that is not like the others, okay, which was option C. It's the one that is not equivalent because it gave us a different output compared to the other two expressions. Okay, which of the following is not an equivalent expression? Okay, if I'm looking at this, I got 10d plus 2d. Well, they're like terms, so 10 plus 2 is going to give me 12d. And negative 5 plus 8, that's going to give me, well, I don't know, so I'm going to check it. Negative 5 plus 8 is going to give me a positive 3. So I do plus 3. Okay, this one right here, if I'm distributing, 4 times 3d is a 12d. 4 times 3 is a positive 12. Okay, so obviously those two are going to be different. They both have a 12d, but the constant on the end is different. Okay, 2 times 6d is 12d, and 2 times 6 is a positive 12. So we have three expressions here, and these two, when you simplified them or distributed, they came out to be the same thing. So therefore, these two are not going to be the ones that are not like the others. They're not all equivalent because we saw that A, the constant 3, is not the same thing as a 12. So A is the one that differs or is different. Okay, number 17. Same thing. If you don't know what it is, just pick some random numbers. Let's let A equal 1 and B equal 2. So we're going to do 1 times 1 plus 2 times 2. We're going to do 1 squared plus 2 squared, and we're also going to do 1 plus 2 all squared. So when I put these in my calculator, the first one I get 1 times 1 plus 2 times 2, which gives me 5. The next one I get 1 squared plus 2 squared, which gives me 5. And the last one I get 1 plus 2 in parentheses, and then that whole thing squared, which gives me 9. Okay, once again, the outputs are different, so therefore they're not all equivalent. So therefore we can get rid of B. Now, option A and option C gave us the same number. So they're not the ones that is not an equivalent expression but instead D is the one that is not equivalent because it's the one that gave us the output that was not like the rest of them. Okay, same thing for this next one. If you don't know, you can pick a number. So I'm going to let x equal 1. No, we'll let x equal, let's make it interesting, 2. Okay, so I'm going to write 7 times 2 over 2, 1 over 2, and 2. Already when I'm looking at this, I know that 0.5 or 1/2 is not the same thing as 2. But the better question is, what is this right here? What does this right here represent? So when I'm looking at this and I say 7 times 2, alpha y equals 7 times 2 over 2, I'm left with a 7. So they all three gave us different answers. Okay, so technically, when it says which of the following is not an equivalent expression, this is one of those ones that's kind of tricky, or really whenever someone was typing up this test review, they left off the option E, that was none. None of them are equivalent. Okay, none of them are equivalent. None. Because when we're looking at this, we got 3 different answers when we plugged them in. So number 18 is going to be a none. We'll clarify that one in class since it wasn't really specifically listed on there. I think it might have been a typo, but we'll fix it. Okay, the next one, in which of the following is true? 7x squared minus 4x minus 7. Okay, so which of the following is true? Coefficient means the number being multiplied. Okay, are they multiplying by a positive 4? No, it's negative 4. Constant means that fixed number that does not have a variable. Is that fixed number a positive 7? No, it's a negative 7. Okay, term is a number that is a number, a product of both, or a variable. Do you see just a plain 4 up there without a variable? No, so it's not it. So hopefully D's our answer. The coefficient is in front of the x, negative 4 is in front of the x, is what's being multiplied, so we're good there. Okay, last one, Sally simplified the expression 5x minus 7 times x plus 2. Explain in your own words what mistakes she made in her work that is listed. Okay, if this confuses you, what I would say is solve this problem off to the side and then see where your answer differs from this. So I'm going to cover this up after I write the question. 5x minus 7x plus 2. And I'm going to cover that up and solve it. Okay, we have a negative 7. I didn't touch the 5x, so I rewrite it. Negative 7 times a positive x is a negative 7x. Negative 7 times a positive 2 is a negative 14. This and this are like terms. A positive 5x minus 7x is going to leave you a negative 2x minus 14. When I look at the answers, negative 14 is the same. However, the negative 11x is different than negative 2x. Let's look at the step before it. Did they get 5x minus 7x minus 14? Yeah, they did it right there. So what happened is Sally incorrectly combined like terms. Therefore, maybe more specifically, it seems like since she got a negative 7x or negative 11x, seems that she thought that was a negative 5x. So I would say positive 5x minus 7x should equal a negative 2x instead of negative 11x. And if you want to just be very helpful to Sally, you could say, I would suggest Sally to check in her calculator. Okay, really, all I really care about is that you state this first part, Sally incorrectly combined like terms. The rest is just more beneficial, which when I look at the rubric, it's going to give you the most points. But at the end of the day, this is the most important thing you should write. Sally incorrectly combined like terms. Good? If you have any questions, come see me.